Welcome back. We wanted to show you some of the, if you want to say, behind-the-scenes footage from last night's visit of President Bush to the Air Force One Pavilion in front of 1,400 folks. Again, his first public outing since his presidency. And yes, he's been doing media starting last week. I believe he launched his book, Decision Points, on the Oprah Show last Tuesday. But this was the first time he was in front of the general public. So we did some interviews with folks in attendance, and then we broadcast last night. We simulcasted it. Can you watch the simulcast yet? Okay, so you get to see that too. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. We look forward to seeing you on Monday live at 4 o'clock. Maria Sanchez, and we're broadcasting live. It is Thursday, November 18th from the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in Simi Valley in beautiful Ventura County. We're here for a couple of reasons. Obviously, the main reason is because the 43rd president, President George W. Bush, is speaking tonight. He's speaking about his book, which was released last week, Decision Points. We have with us Brandon Hynum. Brandon is going to be part of the ceremony, the opening ceremony, and Brandon, you are singing.
Yeah, I'm going to try. I'm going to be singing the Star-Spangled Banner for President Bush, and also for former President, First Lady Nancy Reagan, and looking very forward to it.
And Brandon, how in the world did you get this honor?
A year ago, I sang for the Christmas tree lighting ceremony here, and kept in touch with some of the people here, and they said, hey, we need the national anthem. Would you like to sing? I'd be, sure, why not? So.
And did you have any idea who the guest was going to be when they asked you to sing?
Yeah, they mentioned something about a former president, so yeah. But yeah, no, it's of course it's just to get to sing at my young age, to sing for a former president is a real honor, and also to sing the national anthem for Americans, period, is a great privilege and exciting opportunity.
And tell us about how long have you been singing? How did you start? Where are you from?
Well, I first grew up as a pianist and a French horn player, and I didn't start studying till a couple of years ago officially for classical singing. Actually, I grew up as a crooner primarily, like in the style of Sinatra and Bing Crosby, but then I try to mix that up with classical singing. That's my goal as a singer.
Well, and just for our viewers to know, when he started with the sound check, I thought he was twice his age and twice his size.
Oh.
So,
well,
that's a huge compliment.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
Now, where are you from, Brandon?
I'm originally from Thousand Oaks in this area, so.
Right on, Ventura County.
Yeah,
huh?
Ventura County, that's right.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Hi, Mom. Even though she'll be here soon, so.
Oh, nice. Brandon Hynum, he is opening the program with the Star-Spangled Banner. We're reporting live from the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library.
We don't see the little red.
Hi, this is Maria Sanchez. We're continuing our coverage at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in anticipation of President George W. Bush, his arrival with Mrs. Reagan, which we're going to be able to record as well, and then his speech, as well as a moderated question and answer. And I have with me Pat Walsh. Pat Walsh is a member of the Conejo Valley in terms of residents, a longtime business owner, shall we say, and a Ronald Presidential Library Reagan supporter.
Well, I'm executive chairman up here, so I've been doing it for about 10 years.
And what does executive chairman mean?
I get to sit in a reserved seat, and I get reserved parking, and I can bring people up to the museum and the library, and there's a few little goodies that go along with it, the perks and that kind of thing. And if I need an autographed book, I make a phone call, and the book is autographed, and somehow it just magically appears in my hand.
Yes.
So it does have the perks.
And of course, that involves a donation. And you don't have to say how much, but
an annual donation.
Okay.
And I'm happy to make that because I was here when the library, day one when it opened. I had all the former presidents here, and so there's 6 of them, including the present president. Back in 91, I think it was. And so one of the hottest days I've ever witnessed in my entire life.
Really?
Oh, God, it was people were just passing out like flies outside because everybody's sitting in the sun. So anyway.
And today, if you're watching us from some other place other than gorgeous Southern California, we had T-shirt weather, and there's a slight breeze blowing, and you can see a bit of the vista that we're perched atop a knoll in Simi Valley.
Yes, as long as it doesn't start raining this evening and it holds off until tomorrow evening, we're in good shape, you know. So, but anyway.
So what does President Bush's trip here mean to you and your family?
We were, Stephanie and myself were here when he did his foreign policy speech before he made the announcement he was going to run for president. Or maybe he had just made it. And then, so we were here for that. And we had the opportunity to go up to the private quarters, the Reagan's private quarters, and meet with the soon-to-be president and have dinner with him and get our pictures taken with him. So anyway, that sort of made it nice.
I guess. Well, Pat Walsh, thank you for taking the time to visit with us.
You.
Appreciate it. Great to see you too.
I'm glad you're up here.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.
All righty. Bye-bye. We're continuing our coverage live at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in anticipation with President George W. Bush's arrival. We are honored and privileged and thrilled to have Melissa Giller with us. Melissa, share with us your title.
Director of Communications for the Reagan Foundation.
And so that falls under this event, obviously under your purview, the Harley-Davidson Joyride, I forget what it was called, Huckabee later on this month.
Yes.
And so how many events?
We do so many, I run all the Center for Public Affairs programming here. So Dr. Condoleezza Rice was just here, Laura Bush was just here. We have a stamp unveiling of the Ronald Reagan Centennial Postage Stamp coming up next month. So just 1 to 2 events every month, from speakers to community events like Veterans Day and President's Day, and just try to keep the public informed and entertained.
And how many people are here tonight?
1,400 people. It's our largest Center for Public Affairs event ever.
And I understand it's sold out like within 24 hours or something.
We sold out in 3 days.
In 3 days,
Yeah.
okay. And 1,400 people, is everybody going from this speech to have dinner, or was that a separate price?
Yes, $95 ticket got you the lecture and a served dinner. That's correct, yes.
And then I know that there were signed autographed books available for sale, but you had to pre-order those?
Yes, we had 2,000 books that his publisher sent us, all signed by President Bush, and they were all purchased during the ticket price of the event.
And if our viewers want to get more involved with the library, other than signing up for your mailing list, what would you suggest?
To be honest, signing up for our mailing list is probably the best way to do it, because then every time we have an event, we actually will send you an email, and you'll hear all about it and get signed up.
And then in terms of donations, because we just had one of your executive chairman donors up and speaking, are there different tiers in that regard?
There are. The Reagan Foundation is a nonprofit entity. Every dollar we raise goes back into the library itself for programs such as this, for our exhibits, for education curriculum for 5th or 8th graders. Everything we do here is raised through private funds, so every donation helps. We have membership levels as low as $50, and then obviously going up higher than that.
So $50 a year establishes you as a donor in a circle?
$50 a year gets you a membership to the library, which is free admission, our annual calendar, discounts in our store and in our cafe. Yep, it's a wonderful thing. And the membership gets you free admission to all the presidential libraries.
And will you let our viewers know what we can anticipate starting at 6 o'clock?
We're so thrilled to have President Bush here. We're standing in the Air Force One Pavilion, and he was actually the one who came here when we opened the building in 2005 and cut the ribbon. So to have him come back is just such a great honor for us. He's going to come in, he's going to talk about his book, Decision Points, and then he's going to sit down on the stage with our chairman and engage in a question and answer session.
Which surprised me. I thought he was just going to be talking and running, but he's actually going to sit down and chew the fat, if you will.
He's going to chew the fat, and the questions actually aren't coming from the chairman. When our guests check in, they're actually writing their questions down on 3x5 cards, and those cards will be handed off to our chairman, who will read from them.
And then in terms of his arrival with Mrs. Reagan, I understand that he's going to be walking with her approaching the stage.
That's right. Mrs. Reagan is here, obviously, for his visit, and they'll be in a hold room together, and when the event begins, they will enter the auditorium together and make the long walk to the front of the stage, and then she'll be sitting in the audience for the program.
And one last question. How is he arriving here to the Reagan Library?
Well, he actually is just finished the Jay Leno show, pre-taping that, and then his motorcade will drive him here.
So he's driving? Yeah. I had thought he was helicoptering.
No, he's getting in his motorcade, and they're bringing him right on up.
In the middle of all traffic and everything?
In the middle of the traffic, from Burbank to Simi Valley. Yeah.
Melissa, thank you for your time.
Thank you so
and thank
much.
you for the honor of being here.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Melissa Giller. John Zaruka from Camarillo is here. John, why are you here at the Presidential Library to see, the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library to see former President Bush?
We got the right president. I have a lot of respect for George Bush. I think he did a terrific job under very, very difficult circumstances, and I've always been a big supporter, and that's why I'm here.
Now, are you a supporter of the library in general or of this event?
We come out here quite often. My father used to say when he came here, even if you didn't like Ronald Reagan, when you got done, you loved Ronald Reagan. It's quite a place, it really is. What a resource for our area, our county. It's whenever somebody comes in from out of town, we say, you got to take a half a day and go there.
And what I often say to people is, regardless of your politics, to have a presidential library in your county, there are not very many of them in the country.
No, my wife and I have had the pleasure. We went to the Kennedy Library in Boston and been to the Nixon Library, but there's nothing like this facility. It's just fabulous.
Well, John, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Maria.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
So you get a press badge, you get everything.
This is Supervisor Peter Foy. Supervisor Foy's is District 4, which is the beautiful Simi Valley.
This is God's country out here in Simi Valley, Moore Park. It's great, yes.
And now, how long have you been Supervisor, Peter?
I've been Supervisor almost 4 years now.
And your re-election will be?
My re-election was in June.
Okay, so
I won in the primary.
So, shoo.
Yeah, we're there.
Got that taken care of.
So we get 4 more years to have this much more fun.
Now tell our viewers, Peter, what did you do in your other life before you became supervisor?
And I still do some. I own an insurance brokerage. We do employee benefit, health care for corporations, medium-sized corporations. That's what we do. And I still have an office in Woodland Hills that is run by other people now. But that's what I did. So I've been in the business world for about 30 years, and working with a lot of different companies from all different walks of life all over the country. So it gives me a real perspective to see what the other side, the private sector, what I call the real world, deals, and how government needs to find some ways to do both of those things. So.
And what motivated you to run for supervisor?
Well, it's interesting. I really looked at it. I've looked at politics for a long time, and always talked about, always did stuff, and I was dealing with. Matter of fact, last time I saw you, it was Sheriff Brooks,
right.
And he and I were doing some things because we both sit on the Boy Scout board for Ventura County and saw some issues. And one of those issues were that dealing with public safety and what they were dealing with supervisors, and they were in the middle of lawsuits, and I said, it doesn't have to be this way. And I got involved, and I said, enough is enough. I got to step up and do something. So I talked to a few friends, and about a week before the last filing date,
no way,
I went through a race, a very hard race, and we won.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
One of the reasons that I asked that question is we're always looking to inspire people.
Yes.
And somebody who, like you, took your time and took your finances,
right.
Took time away from your family, obviously from your business, to represent us for not a lot of compensation.
Right.
If you can do it, I'm hoping that others will think maybe they can do it. Or if you're thinking about it, at least consider it.
And I hope there is people out there who have a skill set they can bring. And I look at it as like the Jeffersonian mentality, where you're on your farm, you're doing your work, and all of a sudden you see an issue. You say, I'm going to leave my farm for a little bit, go fix the issue, and come back. I'm not a long-term politician. I'm hopefully here just 1 or 2 terms to fix the issues. And part of my skill set is in the financial side. As we're dealing with some real financial issues, it really is going to be helpful. And that's what I believe there is. And I hope there's a lot of other great people out there who can do that too. When I step out, there's another one ready to step in and put their time in to make a difference for the people of this county.
So am I correct in understanding that your first run at elective office was for supervisor?
Yes, that's right.
How unusual is that?
Yeah, it was a little different.
Well, Kathy did it too, Kathy Long.
Yes.
But she had been in the ranks.
Yeah, she'd been in the ranks and helped with the current supervisor. And I was running against the supervisor, 12-year incumbent.
Wow.
Yeah.
You really shook up the apple cart.
It was a little different for a few people.
I bet so. Not business as usual.
No, not business as usual.
Yeah.
I like to do it that way.
Yeah. Well, and it also goes to show you that there's no guarantee.
There is no guarantee. Nope. And I think people saw the difference, and I think we saw that in the last election across the country.
Right.
Except here in California, where we didn't shake anything up.
Status quo.
Yeah, the status quo. We'll see how that goes, right?
So shout out to your constituents.
Well,
right?
hello, everybody, and we're here at the Reagan for a great event here with George Bush, and so appreciate all you're doing to make Ventura County the greatest place to live.
Isn't that the truth? Thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks so much.
Take care. Bye-bye. Peter Foy. Continuing our coverage, broadcasting live from the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in anticipation of George W. Bush and Mrs. Reagan being escorted down this way before he gets onto the dais there. 2 of the most powerful men in Ventura County are joining us. We have District Attorney Greg Totten and Sheriff Bob Brooks. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, we do.
No. So welcome and thank you for joining us on KADYTV.com.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
And tell us, why are you here?
Well, the first time I was actually able to talk to the president was in the White House with a group of sheriffs, and he told us that every morning he woke up, had tears in his eyes, with the responsibility of protecting the American people. And he's the president that did that. And we've been safe ever since, and being involved in Homeland Security, I've always felt a special kinship with a man that took that kind of responsibility for the nation.
Not a lot of people can tell a story like that. Here, I'm going to rub.
He's a very warm, genuine man, and that was the burden of his heart from the day that 9/11 happened to the day he left office.
And you?
And I, too, I saw him not long after 9/11 at an event in Los Angeles where he spoke. And it was one of those situations where he just leaned across the podium and talked like he was in your living room to the audience. And there was no doubt in my mind or anybody's mind that day in the audience that this man was committed to protecting every single one of us. And I think this is a proud moment for Ventura County. We're honored to have a great president visit us, and I'm looking forward to hearing his speech.
Me too, and what I didn't know is there's going to be a Q&A. The audience was given cards to ask, and so it's going to be a little bit more informal in that regard, which is really thrilling, I think.
Well, it is, and that's when he's at his best.
Yes.
When he can just talk to the crowd, talk to individuals, you get to see his heart, a little bit of insight into the real man.
Agreed. And anything else? I know you both are busy. You're soon to be retired, and then you're going to enjoy the good life.
Yeah.
And then if you have any campaigns or anything you want to share and talk about?
Well, fortunately, I was just reelected in June for my third term, so I don't have to talk about campaigns, but I think this is an exciting time in the country. It's an exciting time in the county, and we're going to keep doing everything we can to protect Ventura County.
Perfect. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Sheriff Bob Brooks, District Attorney Greg Totten. Maria Sanchez, broadcasting live.